Hey Facebook, what is going on? This is Dr. Bagley. All right, so I had just got some time right now, so we're going to go ahead and get into the first part of the breakdown. So there's a couple of things I want to get into before I actually get into the words of affirmation. One, this is not the actual book. This is just a short outliner of the different language, breaks it down. It's for an instructor type position. And so I have this because I used to do seminars way back when on the five love languages back in the days. Hey, how's it going? So in context, being live, and when you have a live audience in the seminar, it's a lot easier to come across and to help the audience. And sometimes when you do Facebook Live, of course, especially as a teaching position, it is kind of hard to address some things because unless you're actually hey, how you doing? Unless you're actually conversating, I'm not sure what it is you have or don't have, and you may or may not be watching it later. So in saying that, I do want to address a Facebook friend who's part of our friend list, Patricia. She wrote down something in the comments on that last video, and I thought it was very prudent for me to talk about it and express it because this is something I believe that a lot of singles and couples are going through. And so yeah, so let's go right into what Patricia said on the five love language of yesterday's video. She says, I think it is also interesting in how they link to attachments such styles as secure, anxiety, dismissive, avoidance, and fear avoidance. Before I evolved into a secure attachment style and was dismissive avoidance, it was hard for me to be compatible with physical touch and quality time partners. Words of affirmation were my comfort through the acts of service too, like it was a way someone could be present without being fully present. That way I could stay within my comfort of my own dismissive attachment style. All right, cool. All right, so here's a couple of things that I want to bring out that Patricia has actually brought out. One, past relationships, and what I said before, and I'm always say, this five love languages is not going to replace the trust factors and other components that builds into a relationship. Now, one of the components of those things in relationships is the history, traumas, letdowns, disappointments, and in Patricia pointing out other security issues, anxiety, which anxiety is the context of stresses that's over a period of time that's now playing out. So look at anxiety in the context of a week or a month or a year being with someone, dealing with something, and not having the ability to express or release or vent out those stresses. And so anxiety, your body reacts, and that's what we call anxiety. Because of the secure issues and the anxiety, meaning the stresses of the relationship over a period of time, it tells me that the relationship is and has been over a period of time, and she built up a wall, and her wall, in the context, layman's term, of course, is the dismissive or avoidance within relationships. So what that means is if someone gets too close to her emotionally and physically, then she backs away or she avoids them and cuts them off for no reason at all. Or at least her partner thinks it's for no reason at all because he or they may think that the relationship is doing good. So be mindful of the avoidance, you being with someone, everything is fine, but you realize certain things are triggered, and that triggered is because of past issues like the stresses that builds into the anxiety, and the secures because you trust someone and they violated that trust over a period of time. And so now the fear avoidance, words it, that fear of a relationship is now there, and because that fear is there, it's keeping her at bay. Now, one of the things she realizes within the five love languages is that she understands her boundaries, and her boundaries are physical touch and quality time partners. So those two are the issue at hand when it comes to one person, but it could also be in various other people too. Because physical touch and quality time, those two personalities within the book expresses those individual likes to come close to your circle, to you. And if you have an issue like secure issues, anxiety issues, dismissives, and fears, like Patricia expressed, then yes, those two will have an issue because they're just simply going to get too close to you, and you're just going to avoid them or dismiss them, even though they may be nice or right for you. The stresses, the anxiety, the fear of history just won't allow a person to deal with it. And Patricia, if you're hearing the key of understanding, getting past that in a healthy relationship, because the two top reasons people get divorces is financial and sexual. The connecting aspect of pleasure, of not just pleasure, but in the context of someone being physically touched or quality time. The lack of that relationship within those individuals will then feel abandoned or avoidance or dismissive. And in that context, they then will not feel healthy in a relationship. And so they will then leave out. Not everyone will cheat because of their upbringing, their motives, their who they and what they believe in, and so they won't cheat. It's just the idea of the healthiness of a relationship. So one, I applaud Patricia in just being aware of who she is and how she is, when she is in today's time. My fear and my concern, though, Patricia, is the fact that you said I can stay within my comfort of my own dismissive attachment style. And what that to me tells me is, even if you get another act, like for example, you said words of affirmations were my comfort through the act of service also are two. So those two, the affirmation and the act of service, be careful of that, because if you have those, that's their personality, that's how they express, and we'll talk more in detail about it later. But they still want to be touched. They still want quality time, meaning eat together or hang out together or do things together. In today's time, I focus more on partnerships than I do marriages, because marriages has this idea of role playing. Partnerships is we're partner. We have roles, but it's interchangeable because we're partners. So in context, there's more partnerships, and not talking about the other realm of, other definitions of partnerships. So one has to, before the five love language, even though you're taking it, yes, you're single, and yes, you're a couple, and if you haven't taken it, please go and take it. But keep in mind, again, I say this is not going to replace it, and I don't want you to replace the fears, the anxieties, the dismissive, the stresses, the traumas that everyone has had in your life. I don't want you to take this and manipulate I don't want to say manipulate, but use this a way to avoid the very things that you have to deal with to have a healthy relationship. Now, how do we deal with these issues is my rule of thumb, and I can just only say what I've said and what I would counsel any and everyone, and that is this. If a person traumatized you, if a person stressed you out in a history, in a relationship, okay, one, you have to give it time to get yourself back together, meaning you have to feel self-esteem issues. You have to feel self-esteem more when, separated from them. Now, when you feel self-esteem or you feel better about yourself because of the traumas or the anxieties and the stresses, you have to really realize it. And I'm talking about all my singles. You have to realize that this individual who did what they did is them, not the next one or the next one or the next one. The issue at hand, everyone, is if this person traumatized you and stressed you out and so on, and the next one traumatized you and stressed you and so on, and the next one traumatized you, stressed you, and so on. As a psychiatrist, I have to say that 3 individuals, 3 partnerships, 3 exact form of relationship, you're the issue. And I can get more into that later. It's just that we need to for work out the problems because the problem back into our relationship. Okay, cool. All right. So in context, there is a position, singles. I'm talking to you right now. There is a single position. There's 2 points that I really want you to pay attention to. One, did one person hurt you? And you're just afraid that the next one and the next one and the next one is going to do what that one person did? Or did this person hurt you, this person hurt you, this person hurt you, and this person hurt you? If that's the case, then we have to work on you because you haven't worked on you. You're still attracting the same type of person. That's the issue on 1, 2, 3, 4 hurting me. The person hurt me and I'm just afraid. We still have to work on you, but we have to deal with your self-esteem. And that self-esteem then will get you to realize that could be just that one person. Not everyone's going to treat you that way. And if not, how do we pick and choose a better choice of men or women, right? How do we choose a better choice? Well, we're choosing a better person because we're trying to get to know me, us, individual, self. When I look in the mirror, I have to know who I am before I go out to find a partner. If you don't know who you are, of course, you're just going to get any and everyone who just comes along and sweeps you off your feet. And I'm talking about guys and girls. You have to know who you are. And the fact, and I'm going to go back now, the fact that Patricia expresses she knows who she are. She still feels hurt. She still feels that anxiety. She still feels that. That lets me know that she's just holding on to that one person because in context, how she wrote it, it doesn't say that all of them treat me. It's just, I have this anxiety, this secure problem, this missive avoidance problem. That means she's treating all these other people, and when they get too close, she pushes them away. Okay. That tells me she says, I stay within my comfort. Well, her comfort is the belief that everyone that gets close to you is going to hurt you. That's a wrong belief, but that's a belief that people always put in their heads. Because one person I don't want to say damaged, please forgive me, that one person abused you and manipulated you and lied to you and cheated on you and did all kinds of craziness to you, just because that one person did it, your mind, if you continuously let your mind flow as if the next one is going to do the same thing, and the next one is going to do the same thing, and the next one is going to do the same thing. If you continuously think that's going to happen, you're just stressing yourself out, and you're letting a lot of people go over the stresses of the fears, I should say, of something that one person may have done to you, like a divorce, or like you lived with someone for years and then they cheated and left you, and so on and so forth. So, hey Marilyn, how you doing? So my point is, now let's go. So understand, and thank you, Patricia, for that writing. I really appreciate you for letting us get into that understanding that 5 love languages is not to replace anything, is to help you understand who you are. So as who you are, that communication to your partner or to a partner that may be, that communication is to express to them, to say, hey, in today's lesson, words of affirmation, hey, I'm a words of affirmation from this book, from this psychiatrist, and what that simply means is this. What does words affirmation mean? That just simply means you want someone to tell you how you're doing. Don't call me, and I'm just talking in theory now. Don't call me and tell me how beautiful I am. Words of affirmation people, that those people can manipulate you. Because you would take the words of affirmation, you would take someone saying, oh, beautiful, sexy, how you doing, lovely, all kinds of names, all kind of love, whatever. And you will see and feel like they're giving you that right attention, because after all, that is what words of affirmation is supposed to do. They feel that attention and that attraction because someone is giving them that attention through their words. And social media is a danger because that's all they can give you is the words. So in one point, the lesson of today, words of affirmation, for all of you who are, that's your high point, be mindful that there's more things that you have to acquire before you believe someone who says you're beautiful, you're lovely, I can do this, I can do that. There's a lot of other things, like a profile, okay? I said it before, but all right, sorry about that. I had a call. So one of the things you have to realize is a profile. You have to look on their Facebook and you have to look at their profile. Put it in a interviewing position. So if you're looking at someone's profile and you find them attractive or whatever, you have to look at their profile, let it be Facebook, Instagram, whatever the social media is. Before you believe their words of affirmation, people, you have to put them through a look at their profile, and you have to profile them as if you're interviewing them. Meaning, if you had a job description, which if you're dating, you should have a job description of the person that you're willing to be with. But if you had a job description of the kind of person that I need to be with, that's compatible to me, that will enhance me, then you have to look at their profile and you have to ask yourself, would you hire them for that position? It doesn't matter what they say. It's ultimately 80% of body language is communicated through body language. 80% of communication is body language. 7% is only expressed of communication. So 7% is what they say. Oh, baby, hi, sweetie, you look good, and heart this and that. No. Go to that 80%, 90% that they can't lie and look at their profile. See what they're doing, how they're doing what they're doing, and don't just look at, do they look nice, their body looks nice, they look like they got money crap. Look, put all that aside. Get into the detail of things. Don't just look at the exterior part. Look at their body language as far as, are they zealous? Are they boastful? Are they submissive? What are they? How are they when in their personality? Do they have videos? If they have videos, how is their tone? How is their makeup of their appearance? And how do they deliver what they're delivering? Now, one of the kickbacks that I get all the time is, one, there's a lot more ladies on my profile than there is guys, but not necessarily. Think about it. If you think it is, it's not. I have married couples, I have singles, and I have all. If you go to church, there are 80% more females in the church. If you go to the grocery store, go in the grocery store and look around and see how many more men or women there is of men. Go anywhere and see how many more females there are men. Now, again, don't look at just the fact that they got all women, but if they got all women, then we got some issues. And so in context, you have to look at a person's profile as if you're trying to hire them. So at words of affirmation, this is dangerous if you don't have a list of who you are, which is now wonderful because you know your words of affirmation. So now you can put a roadblock up and say, not going to have all these guys wooing me and I'm falling into those traps. Excuse me. So you're mindful of that. And so now look past that and then look at their profile and so on and so forth. Okay. But if you don't have your past dealt with, meaning, if you can't let that past go and mature yourself or self-esteem, build yourself up in security of knowing that everyone is different. Every person is different. You may not know 100% of their motive, but words of affirmation, you can hear it if you don't romanticize it. Okay? So when you hear it, do not romanticize it. Take it for what it is and look past it. You only romanticize words of affirmation, people, once you figured out this person is an enhancement to me. And once you figure out that they're an enhancement to you and you two can get together to a degree, then you can start building that trust and that relationship. And from the trust and relationship, then you can start believing their words of affirmation, people. If you're in a relationship and you know your partner is a words of affirmation, deal with any issues that you might have to deal with. Okay? If you don't have trust in your relationship, and you know your partner is a words of affirmation, don't use that. Do not use this on your partner to manipulate them if you know that that relationship is not secure. Okay? So secure a relationship first. Secure it first. Then apply what we're talking about, words of affirmation. If you're in a relationship and you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, something like that, and it's just starting to get boring, one of the ways to spark up a relationship is, if they are words of affirmation or you are, let them know, but then start piggybacking off of utilizing the words of affirmation and start piggybacking off of that. Start leaving little notes and say, hey, I just love you. One of the things old school, I don't know if you guys do that now, but you take your lipstick, ladies, and you put I love you or I something heart or something and erase it and let the steam in the room show it through. That's old school stuff. Anyway, y'all, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But mostly Text them more. Just simply say, hi, thought about you. Or just let them know. Leave cards here. Leave sticky notes there. Just tell them how you feel. You don't have to tell them that you lovey-dovey all the time. No, it's not about lovey-dovey. Words of affirmation is just simply communication. They love communication. You have to communicate a lot more to them. And it's not about lovey-dovey. It's just simply saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hey, what do you want for dinner? Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. Can we do this? Give out the words. Give up the words. So, in a part, I'm glad, like I said, Patricia, thank you again. Work on yourself first. Secure a relationship second. And then third, enjoy the relationship and apply words of affirmation, because that's something that spices up a relationship. It keeps it from getting boring. Believe it or not, it does. So if you have a boring relationship and you think your partner is lovefirmation, all I want you to do is text them once an hour thinking of you. That's it. See how much more enjoyable they become. Now, if you have a problem with your relationship, deal with the problem. But communication is always a key to fixing a relationship. Let them feel good, words of affirmation, and then start dealing with the problem. Make sure that this person is not applied to that person. Okay? Anyway, short and simple. Tomorrow I will talk about quality time. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. And if not, I will talk to everyone tomorrow. Have a great evening, and thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, bye-bye.